Hello everyone, and I'm back again playing Forgotten Hope 2, and this time I'm playing on the map, excuse my pronunciation, but I believe it's called Ihantala, and it's a map that involves the Soviet Union versus the Finnish armed forces. I did intend to play as the Finnish armed forces, but I saw that this was a map that was largely an assault map for the Soviets and thought it would provide a more entertaining gameplay experience being on the offensive rather than being on the defensive. Because as I've stated with previous Battlefield 2 videos and mods and whatnot, the game's bots, while better than previous games in the series, can still provide some rather random things. So anyway, we're back to playing Forgotten Hope 2, and I will say, you know, still great. I've actually been spending a lot of the day playing it, so there will be another video coming up shortly, and it was on another really good map actually for this game. But it happens to be well timed because over the next week or so there will be some servers up for the D-Day campaigns for Forgotten Hope 2, because of course D-Day was a significant campaign in the Second World War, or you know, the invasion of Normandy and associated events, and there are some servers up with people playing Forgotten Hope 2, so of course, you know, you can pop on there and have a good experience on there. There aren't as many people playing this as there are Project Reality these days, so it's a bit of a shame because again, the amount of attention to detail in this mod, as I've stated in the previous video that I did for this game, is still top-notch, top tier, and it's absolutely worth installing. Even if it does kind of override your default Battlefield 2 installation if you already don't have Battlefield 2 installed, like I recently found out. Because I've been recently having texture issues, because the plan was, and I described it in a post, was to do a mod showcase for Arctic Warfare, because that is a great little mod, you know, only 2 maps, but it still has a lot of little cool things to keep note of, and, you know, some very unique things that aren't really seen in many other Battlefield 2 mods, but I had texture glitches playing it, so just couldn't record it because it just didn't do the mod any service. So I just thought instead to play Forgotten Hope 2 instead, and then got promptly reminded of how heavy this game is on my PC. It's hilarious because, like I said in the previous Forgotten Hope 2 video, but yeah, it's kind of amazing how you can turn a game that is so like lightweight these days, like Battlefield 2, and then make it this with all the visual flourishes and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's been good. I mean, I haven't really been doing much otherwise. I've largely been abstaining from recording or even kind of playing any games on PC, really. I've mainly been playing Forza Horizon or 007 Verse-Light, just because, as I said in the previous video, I very much overdid it throughout May, did a lot of videos, clearly had a lot of things to say, and now I'm just kind of like, yeah, you know, just chilling. But nonetheless, things have been good for me personally, you know, new job starting soon, so there'll probably be a bit more focused with videos and whatnot coming up, because I'll be keeping myself busy along with, you know, being able to enjoy these games a little bit more in my spare time. It'll make me reward with the spare time that I've had more, because I've been taking the last 2 weeks as a bit of a holiday almost, just, you know, taking it easy and not thinking about much. But yeah, I am not torturing everyone here with the long respawn timers, so here we are. You get to see some vehicle combat in Forgotten Hope 2. I'm kind of surprised I didn't do it in the previous video, but the previous map was an infantry only map. And again, the way the vehicles are in this game are completely different from other Battlefield 2 mods that I've played. It's again, it's a total conversion mod. What do you expect? But it's going to be fun editing this video later on and trying to turn down the volume for this video, because this game is really loud for some reason. Could be the way that I've recorded it, but I just am kind of surprised that these games tend to just be stupendously loud. And it turns out that the iron sight on the tank gun here, I mean, I guess it's, you know, accurate to how the gun's actually positioned. It's sort of to the right, but it's just funny how inaccurate it is. It's kind of accurate for Soviet era weaponry, I presume. But yeah, this map's awesome. I cannot really sing enough praises for the map selection and the map variety in this game. There is a lot of different fronts, a lot like the Eastern and Western fronts are sort of played with and explored, as is the North African front, and I believe the Mediterranean is explored quite a bit as well. So there's so many different factions, and it reminded me a lot of when I started getting into these mods, about how cool it was to see all these new factions with new content and stuff like that. And of course, as I've stated in several Battlefield 2 videos, that started with Operation Peacekeeper. But seeing it in the World War II mod and seeing lesser known factions, because a lot of World War II shooters, when they're at their peak in the early aughts, you know, typically focused on the US, the Germans, the British, very occasionally the French, occasionally a bit more commonly the Italians, and of course the Soviets. But you didn't get the Finns, you didn't get the Kiwis, you didn't get the Poles, you didn't get the Australians, you didn't get them nearly as often. And so it's really cool to have that sort of representation in this game, because they've all got different equipment and unique battlegrounds. Like the forests of Finland are quite unique compared to even, say, like the Eastern Front with the Soviets. So yeah, I thought I'd be able to hold them off there, and I kind of got put in my place there. But yeah, it's just awesome seeing so much unique sort of content in this game and seeing it all play so well and look as good as it does. because, you know, again, 21-year-old engine, and this is being pushed to the absolute max. And again, I can't sing its praises enough. I did a lot of that last video, and I'm doing it again here because I'm running out of things to say. But yeah, it reminded me a lot. Again, Operation Peacekeeper had the Germans and the Serbs and the British as well, which was really cool. I guess the British were in Battlefield 2 by Special Forces, but nonetheless, you know, it's still unique to see that. And again, I really just can't really thank the modding scene enough, really. It's kept me playing this game for a very good chunk of my life, and may it keep going. I've been doing it for nearly 20 years now. I loved how OP the LMGs are. You'll see that in the next video too, that the LMGs in this game, I presume it's similar in multiplayer, but I mean, at least I kind of hope not, but in a single player context, you can just pick off people and just one-shot them from like absurdly long ranges, and it's just, it's hilarious. I think I've got the bots up on a higher difficulty as well, because it was genuinely challenging getting into this, but once you play this game like the tactical shooter that it actually is, you actually, you know, get rewarded by, you know, prioritizing cover and prioritizing squad cover from tanks and stuff like that. And it all just brings about this really good gameplay experience. This is good. This would be a lot of fun with other people online. But I say that about so many things at this point, but it still rings true. I would absolutely be getting into setting this up so I can play this with friends for co-op, just because, again, when they get into the sort of tactical shooter flavor, although not many of my friends are really into tactical shooters, they're more into well, not even Call of Duty these days, really. That's sort of come off by the wayside. I mean, I had a couple of friends who we played Black Ops 6 with, but, you know, they kind of got bored of that and then just straight up didn't bother touching Black Ops 7, because Black Ops 7 frankly sucked. And I will admit, Modern Warfare 4 does look tempting, it does look appealing, if not owing to the Switch 2 version. Like, I'm really curious to see how that turns out, because I love seeing those games kind of run on hardware that, you know, is clearly a bit ambitious, you know, for those games to run on, because Call of Duty isn't necessarily a lightweight game, let's be real here. I could be wrong though. I know the PC version of the game can probably run on a variety of things. I think the biggest thing that holds it back is just the sheer size that the game has. And like, by comparison, this game is very CPU heavy, because I believe it's only optimized for like single or dual core processors, and, you know, as a result you get like, you know, and it also caps out at 100 FPS too, as far as I'm aware. Like, I noticed that when I was playing with smaller bot accounts on an open field, it seemed to have capped out at maybe at 100, but maybe that just might be my CPU finding its limits with the aforementioned single core and dual core optimizations. But nonetheless, it's still just an interesting thing to discover. But otherwise, tactical shooters, I mean, there's a couple of others I could definitely get people into. Like, Insurgency is a really underrated series. I still, you know, it's probably quite popular. Sandstorm is probably still quite popular as far as I'm aware. I remember I did all the achievements for that on Xbox a couple of years ago, and there was a pretty active player base there on Xbox, but the original game is sadly all but dead, and I have fond memories of playing that when I started this YouTube channel, actually. And then, of course, there was Day of Infamy, which I remember getting because it was a World War II spin-off, and I thought that was sick, and I ended up picking it up, and it was one of the first games I played on my then new gaming laptop, which is still a great computer. Like, you know, the screen's not the original screen because the screen's broke on those, so it's a 720p screen or a 768p screen, so, you know, not terribly impressed because I don't have that nice 1080p screen. But the CPU is a 9th gen Intel processor, but apparently not new enough to be upgraded to Windows 11. Planned obsolescence. How good is it? So that's great. And I love that the, back to Forgotten Hope 2 briefly, but I did love the random kits that you could find scattered around the map. There's actually quite a lot of these. I think a vast majority of these maps do have like random pickup kits scattered around them. It's kind of the case here, but it was very much the case with the Gold Beach map, because there was a lot of different kits there, and you'll see that in the next video. And of course, I'll mention that and, you know, make the continuity reference just to keep the very few people who get this far into the video entertained. But if it wasn't already obvious, yes, this is the full match. Like, this is the battle from start to finish. There was one little bit that I cut out because it was, you know, charging up the hill, whilst accurate for the Soviet Union in the day. You know, mob rushing positions and Zerg rushing positions, more or less. You know, I didn't want to include that extra bit because it wasn't really interesting, really, in the gameplay video. And I mean, these videos already run long enough as it is, so I might as well just show you the good bits. And again, the map design is sick. It's so, I mean, it's probably not stupidly accurate in the scheme of things, but the immersion factor is very much there, and I think that's what this game and Project Reality absolutely nail in the scheme of things, is just that they, you know, they nail their atmosphere from their total conversion nature. I'd be surprised if there was any vanilla Battlefield 2 assets in this game. I'm pretty sure it's kind of an interesting one, because when I loaded up the Battlefield 2 hub and tried to download or install Battlefield 2 onto my PC proper to fix some issues I've been having with my vanilla Battlefield 2 install, the installer directory defaulted to the Forgotten Hope 2 install, which I hope hasn't broken it or anything like that. But then when I ran Battlefield 2 hub on it, it said it was only running the 1.0 demo, which I thought was interesting, because I'm pretty sure Battlefield 2 Hub supports the 1.0 demo. And what surprises me more was that the demo still had server support up until the GameSpy shut down, so it really makes me wonder who was running 24/7 servers for Battlefield 2 demo back in the day. It would be kind of funny to find out and maybe talk to people who were. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm having a bit of a last man standing type thing here. The thing I love about the bolt action rifles in this game is that they're so satisfying. When you line up your shots and get those people with one hit, one kill sort of things, there's fewer things more satisfying even in modern shooters, really. And the animation work is absolutely fantastic. Not my aiming though, that was absolutely dreadful. Nearly wasted a whole clip aiming at one particular person, so that went about as well as you went about well. I mean, I'm still alive, so I guess it has gone pretty well. But yeah, the more infuriating thing is that all my allies or comrades are all slowly approaching, and I'm just sort of left here to sort of fend for myself. And as far as I remember, there weren't really any, and of course I got team killed, because, you know, of course. But as far as I remember, there isn't really any ammo resupply kits in this game. I think there's just random ammo resupply points throughout some capture points. I think there was one a bit further behind at the second spawn point, but again, you know, it's pretty far and few between, so you're kind of just left to sort of fend for yourself and then scavenge for other kits if you happen to stay alive long enough, which I guess is sort of true for World War II, really. You know, get the as light field gear as you can, but do as much damage as you can, and then maybe die. At least I get the feeling that that was the case for the Soviet Union, because yeah, a lot of people died during the Second World War for, you know, many reasons. You know, some of them less better than others, but you know, that was a point in history that was, and we persist as a species in spite of all those horrors. I mean, there are plenty of modern day horrors going on in the world, but hey, we still persist for now. So I don't know, we'll see how that all goes. But anyway, I should go back to talking about Forgotten Hope 2. Things that didn't quite work out for me. I thought I'd just try to be immersive and be realistic. I loved the 3D shell casings. Can't imagine that would have been easy to sort of program, but they're there. The game is about 15 to 20 gig to download and load up all that good stuff, and the game does get very regular updates, so I do strongly recommend installing it if you want a World War II flavored tactical shooter with a lot of different factions represented and a lot of different content, and, you know, still being regularly updated. I even had an update earlier today, which preceded an update about 2 weeks ago. So yeah, again, very regularly active, and has a Discord server as well, which I'll post a link to in the video description, because yeah, this game is awesome. I've said that so many times at this point, but this was a lot of fun recording this, and the subsequent video that will come up will be was just as fun to record as well. I actually played through the map twice because it was that much fun to play through. The thing that surprises me is that, if I'm not mistaken, there isn't a Canadian Armed Forces faction, so the next map should have had Canada in there, but it didn't. But I guess Canada was a part of the Dominion of the United Kingdom, or the British Empire back in the day, because it was up until 1947, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, Canada got its modern flag in, I think it was, what, 65 or 64 or something? Anyway, random little bit of geography history that I may or may not have got wrong. It's just how I am these days. I can barely pronounce things in English as it is, even though English is my native language. Oh, I love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. It kind of makes me envious of Europeans, because, you know, they casually can just speak multiple languages on a dime for the most part. As you can see here, though, holding this point off is not really working out for me, because they keep rushing the point, and I am the only one here that's able to defend it, which is just great. I had to do a bit of a last man standing thing here, so yeah, it's awesome. Download it, it's free to download. You don't need Battlefield 2 to install this mod anymore. You used to need to have a Battlefield 2 install up until I think about 2015. But with, I mentioned before, the game seemingly using demo assets, and I guess the demo is free to distribute and download and whatnot. You know, it's technically a free version of the game. I guess they could kind of get away with using the demo assets at the very least. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else to say, guys. I mean, you can watch me potshot over me monotonously saying random shit. And it kind of worked out. I was kind of running out of targets. Again, this just proves how almost overpowered these LMGs are. You can just camp in a corner and just, provide, you know, you're running the game at a high enough resolution, just pick people up from over like 100 meters. I guess someone had enough of me though, because they ended up just absolutely brutalizing me there and hitting me with an artillery shell. And unfortunately for me, the battle was pretty much about to wrap up, but I couldn't get close to the battle, which was a huge shame, because I was really enjoying that. I was really enjoying it going to a climax. And as you can see here, I was able to get this camera to work for a little bit, which was really nice. And yeah, that was really about it. Like, I tried rushing there to get back into the action, but the match ended, and evidently, going by the top right corner, the score worm's looking very narrow, and it sort of just kind of ended there. It was a bit disappointing it ended in an anticlimactic fashion, but Unfortunately, not everything ends well. Not every video ends as planned, but I had a lot of fun recording this video tonight, and I hope you enjoyed watching it, guys. Again, as I said in the last video, I'll just upload whenever I feel like it, really. You know, things will come when they come, and I'll get another Forgotten Hope 2 video up. I intend to focus on this mod for a little bit, just because there are so many unique things in this mod. But yeah, as I stated just 30 seconds ago, that'll wrap it up. You'll see how close it is. I was genuinely surprised we won this. But that about wraps it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a 1-0 victory, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.